who join us. We have a good list of people here already, and we're going to record, which we are doing now. So anyone who's late can always just jump in. Thank you all for coming today. I'm going to spend some time today talking about the BMHI internship experience, or the PSM internship experience. We call them kind of the same interchangeably. Today's session is really meant to give you information, but if you have questions or are confused by anything, please stop me and ask your questions or put it in the chat. Marielle will be monitoring the chat and she can also interrupt me with questions. We really want this to be like a useful information session for you so that you are well informed as you go into your internship experience. So really hoping that if there is any feedback or any concerns or any questions, that you raise them today. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of you probably attended my internship overview in the fall. I think that was in September. So that was a pretty high level overview of what the internship is. And it was really meant to just encourage you about, what your internship should look like, what an internship would be like. Today, I'm hoping to do a little bit of a deeper dive into each deliverable and requirement and give you more information about the internship experience. So we're going to go over the requirements, kind of the timeline. I want to talk to you about your internship search, what goes into your internship proposal. We'll talk a little bit about the resources in the handbook and Sakai, and then I also have some upcoming career events that I want to highlight for you. So for those of you who don't know, your internship should be 400 hours long at least. So that's usually 10 hours, 10 weeks at 40 hours full time. But for some of you, that will look different depending on where you do your internship or how you want to work those hours out with your industry organization. So it has to be at least 400 hours. We really encourage you that the work needs to be of value to the organization. So as I'm scanning internship job descriptions, I throw out anything that says data entry, because I don't think that's bringing a lot of value, or at least what you're able to contribute to the organization. Anything that says answering phone calls, I usually put that in the trash bin. But we're really hoping that you're going to be applying what you're learning in class to your internship experience. So that's why there is that 9 credit hour limit, that you have to have at least 9 credit hours under your belt before you can start your internship. We really do want you to be applying your learnings from class to your internship experience. That being said, if I was giving you career advice, I would also say that your internship experience should fit into your postgraduate goals. So if your postgraduate goals are to do something in health equity, then your internship should fit into the narrative of your career goals. So I want to just say get an internship to get an internship to fill that requirement. I really want to encourage you all to think about how the internship experience can fit into your long-term career goals. Some examples of sponsoring organizations we threw up there, but you also have access to the internship presentations on the CHIP website, and that has usually like who their industry sponsors were. That'll look different for all of you. So this is just a quick example of who we have somewhere. Timeline. So we are now in spring semester. So you all should be actively applying and interviewing for internships. I really hope that you're not going to wake up in April and say, oh yeah, I wanted to do my internship this summer. It's going to be too late. So I really hope that you all have been doing this and you're doing it now, and you will be doing it until you find an internship. So this semester, actively applying and interviewing for internships, you should accept your offer, and then you will develop an internship proposal. And I'm going to talk more about what goes into that internship proposal later. Your internship proposal will have signatures from your faculty advisor as well as your industry mentor. And then you'll submit that to your program coordinator, so either Marielle or myself, and we will enroll you in CHIP 793. And then in the summer, you'll start your internship. For those of you who are doing a traditional track and will be doing your internship in the summer, this is the timeline for you. So you'll start your internship and you will have a midpoint or a halfway mark, and that will be determined ahead of time in your internship proposal. You will fill out an online questionnaire about how, it's a self-evaluation about how you're doing. You will also submit a report to your faculty advisor and your program coordinator, so either Marielle or myself. And that report is usually a couple paragraphs, less than a page, and it's a way for your faculty advisor and your program coordinator to just check in on your progress. If there are any red flags, we will set up a follow-up meeting, but usually it's just a way to make sure that you're making the progress that you need to be making, you're getting access to the things that you need to have access to, that you have the right tools and resources that you need to be successful. At the end of your internship, you will complete another self-evaluation, and your industry mentor will also complete an evaluation. I'll say now, those are the same links and the same form, and they'll see the same questions. So we often get that confusion. So we've just provided you the same link for both you at your midway point and your final, for both you and your mentor. It's all the same evaluation form. You were also encouraged to have a check-in with your mentor to give them update about your progress, your accomplishments. If appropriate, we encourage students to give a small presentation about what they've accomplished. It's a great warm-up for your final presentation and report for the program. And then the final deliverable for the internship is the paper and the presentation. If you haven't looked at what goes into those, that's in the internship handbook. I think I also covered those briefly here. So to be enrolled or start your internship hours, you will be enrolled in CHIP 793. Only Marielle and I will be able to add you to that class. So once we get your internship proposal, we will add you to the CHIP 793 class. You will get 1 credit hour for the summer semester if that is when you are completing your internship hours. So the semester in which a majority of the internship hours are completed is 1 credit hour. The 2 credit hours comes with the internship paper and presentation. So if you complete your internship in the summer, you'll get 1 credit hour. And if you are doing your paper and presentation in the fall, then those will be 2 credit hours in the fall. If you are on the fast track and you need to complete all of those deliverables, the internship, paper, and presentation in 1 semester, then you will be enrolled in 3 credit hours. Marielle and I are happy to talk to you kind of individually about what makes the most sense, but we'll also use your internship proposal and those deliverable dates to determine what credit hours are appropriate. I saw a question come in, so I'm going to try to answer that if I can.
Yes, you have it right there?
Yeah, so if we get something lined up for the spring semester, would that qualify for the internship requirement? Okay, so 2 things. You'd have to have 9 credit hours completed with grades before you can start your internship. So if you have 9 credit hours and you find a fantastic opportunity that starts tomorrow or March, we can enroll you in CHIP 793 right away. Marielle can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we can. And what usually will happen in that situation is you'll get like an incomplete or an I until that deliverable has met. So if your 400 hours bleed from March to July, you finish the internship in July and then you work on your paper and presentation in the fall semester, you'll have an I until you complete your internship. Great question. We do not want you to turn down an internship opportunity because it doesn't fit perfectly into a semester. So if that ever happens, please reach out to one of us and we'll do our best to make it work.
Another question came in, Hannah.
Connor, will answer that very soon, I think. If I don't, then I'll come back to it. Okay, I'm trying to switch to the next slide. Okay. So for the 1 credit hour internship, you have those 4 deliverables that I just want to, the student self-evaluation at the halfway mark, your report at the halfway mark, your self-evaluation, and then your evaluation. So that's things are your 1 credit hour. In the 2 credit hours, you'll have your report and your presentation, and your faculty advisor is the one who submits your evaluation for those 2, the paper and the presentation, and that's used to calculate your grade. And those evaluations can be seen in Appendix F and G. So as you're working on your paper and presentation, I would recommend looking at those to see and understand what you're going to be evaluated on. Okay, okay, so I'm going to answer Connor's question now. So his question is, how is the internship structured if you do it with your current employer? So it can be pretty flexible. Again, you have to meet those 9 credit hours first. Once you have your 9 credit hours, then what I would recommend is you work with either your supervisor at your employer or another team or another leadership member at your organization to develop an internship project. And that's kind of what the internship proposal helps structure. Then you can, once you have all your signatures, your internship proposal is set up, you will determine like how many hours a week you are doing the work at internship project, and then you'll track your 400 hours through that time. And then once you reach your 400 hours, then like we wrap up the internship process. I will say, like, once you kind of get a feel of like what goes into the report and the presentation, you'll understand like what you want your deliverable to be. Happy to talk more specifics on that, or if you have follow-up questions, please let me know. So your internship search. So again, you should all be completing your internship search if you are planning to do your internship this summer. My recommendations for you is you should have an A list of employers and a B list of employers, and you should be applying to both. At this point in time, you should be applying broadly. And I've talked to some of you and you're very targeted and you want to do X, and I think that's great. At some point we need to open up to both A and B lists. So think about that as your strategy. If you want to talk to me about your internship search strategy, I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one. I recommend spending about 2 to 3 hours a week on your internship search until you have secured an internship. So if you're thinking about how to like plan that with your credit hours and classes, that's what I would recommend. You've probably seen from me lots of job postings in lots of different areas. Again, that CHIPS jobs database has been updated. We added another like 12 jobs this week. So if you're not regularly checking that jobs database, please do that. That should not be your only resource of job opportunities, but it is one. So in addition to job postings or internship postings, formal internship postings, you can also do cold emails. So this would be you reaching out to an organization that is of interest to you and say that you are looking for an internship project that needs to meet this requirement of 400 hours and applying my skill set, and you can share what your skill set is, and ask if they would be willing to create an internship opportunity for you. Often those are unpaid, but for those of you who are really looking for something very specific, or might want to be working in a not-for-profit, like it's possible that you will be doing an unpaid experience. So just want to suggest that as an option as well. In addition to job postings, there are cold emails. I say cold emails instead of cold calls because no one picks up the phone anymore, and that's where we are. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to be networking. Internship search is one thing, full-time job and employment from graduation and beyond. It's so important for you to start plugging into this network. Most of you in this program are coming into it as kind of a small pivot or a big pivot in your career. So you're looking to really specialize and dive into this area. And so now is your time to start really getting to know people in this community and in this network. So I encourage you to take any opportunity to network, but also really get active about it. So where do you start? As some questions that I usually get is like, how do I even begin networking? One would be cold emails, so just reaching out to someone you find on LinkedIn or a leadership page on a website and saying, hi, my name is X, Y, and Z, and I'm a student at UNC's master's program. I'm really interested in this area. Would you be willing to give me 15 to 30 minutes for an informational interview? LinkedIn is a great way to just like start feeling like you're connected. If you can join any organizations, whether they be like local or national, if you're not a part of or not following the American Medical Informatics Association, they're very active. And so I would recommend like following them on LinkedIn. I think most of your classes or a lot of your classes will have guest speakers. And so if there's a guest speaker that really resonates with you, follow up with them, set up a time to meet with them in an informational interview and get to ask these follow-up questions. You really want to learn about what skills they're using, what kind of questions you might get in an interview, what's important to the organization. So, you know, is the organization really focused on improving safety and quality? Is the organization really, you know, focused on different things? And those are the kind of words that you want to like buzzwords you want to be able to have in your interview. So network, 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 network. I just really can't stress that enough. Again, so the resources that you have at your disposal include the CHIPS jobs database, UNC Career Services. I'm going to talk about some of the events they have coming up this semester. You can also do a career counseling session with them. So if you want your resume reviewed, which I would recommend, you want a cover letter reviewed, if you want to do a mock interview, those career coaches at UNC Career Services, I think, are available to you. So reach out. And then they also have a different jobs database called Handshake. So if you don't have a Handshake profile, you should set one up. It's free for you to use at UNC. And that's where employers come to recruit UNC students. And the last resource I have for you is the Graduate School's Professional Development Office. So I put the link there, but there are some really great resources in terms of your career search. There's even like links to like pay scales and like what are like pay scales across the country and like how to negotiate an offer, different jobs databases. So if you haven't checked out that link, please do. This is one I'm very passionate about and very excited about. So if you have any questions, feel free to come off your mic. I would like to address those before I move on.
Would you say that messaging someone on LinkedIn is too intrusive? Would you just like do an email?
I don't find it intrusive. I don't think that is too far. So I think what you're saying is like usually on LinkedIn, if you want to connect with someone, you can then send them like a little note. Mm-hmm. At least when I was doing my job search, you couldn't just like send a message to someone. You had to like connect with them or you had to like pay. But no, I think that it's totally appropriate to send someone a LinkedIn message. I do it all the time when people ignore my emails. And I think it's a great way to make a connection. Oftentimes when I have like interacted with someone and I say, can I follow up? Can I follow you on LinkedIn, or can I connect with you on LinkedIn? And people think that that's such an easy way to do that. So I think LinkedIn is very appropriate.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll have lots of time at the end of this session. So for anyone who wants to stick around and talk about internship search, I'm happy to do that. Okay, so back into the mechanics. Your internship proposal, there's three main parts. So you have your internship overview, your internship proposal for each deliverable, and then your key dates. So in your internship, I'm not going to read all these to you, but you get the sense. This is all the things that need to be completed and filled out in your internship proposal before it's signed and submitted to Marielle and myself. I recommend that you use the job description, if there was one, to fill out some of these things, but then you should really be working with your industry mentor to say, like, does this kind of match what you were hoping to get out of the internship experience? This is what I hope to get out of the internship experience, and make sure that you're both on the same page before starting the internship on what your deliverables are, when you're expected to meet those, and how you're going to be able to do that. This has been a really great resource for many people going into the internship, to just know that they're on the same page as their industry mentor and they know exactly what they need to deliver on. And this is always a document you can go back to if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. Marielle and I use these key dates, so we will hold you to them. So if you haven't already looked at the internship handbook, it's very long, and it's full of information, like probably more information than you've ever wanted, which is why I'm having this information session now, because I think most of you will skim over it and not actually get into the nitty-gritty details. But all of the nitty-gritty details that I'm going over today are in the internship handbook. I'd like to draw your attention to those appendices. Those can be a really great resource for you as you're working on your proposal. There's a template there, give you an idea of what a midpoint report is, as well as the other things that you're being evaluated on. Yeah, so that is in Sakai, and I believe all of the appendices are also in Sakai. If you do not yet have access to the Sakai site, please let us know. And when you log into Sakai, it should say PSM Internship. That is where we have posted our resources. We will also create an individual student folder for each of you that you will be able to add your report to. We'll include your self-evaluations in there. So if you do not have access to Sakai, please let us know as soon as possible so that we can get you added. I'm flying through this. Okay. Upcoming career events. So next Friday, I'm hosting a short panel with a current student and at least one alum. I might have two alums to share with you about how they went about their internship search, how the internship went, what advice do they have, how do you do a paper and a presentation, what did they learn that they'd love to share with you. We got some feedback from graduates that they just didn't feel like they had enough information about the presentation and the paper and the internship before getting into it. And so this is our way of hopefully filling that need. So come with your questions. I'll have questions prepared for our panelists, but if there are things that you're dying to ask a current student or alum about their internship experience, please come to that session. We look forward to having you. It's next Friday, February 12th from 12 to 1. And those are BMHI alums, so it's very program specific. They have been in your shoes and they are willing to give you some great advice. So looking forward to that. I've also put together a health informatics and industry series for this spring. For those of you who have been around for a while, you have seen a health informatics and industry series before. This one I have requested more like internship and employer focus. So they're either bringing a recruiter or they're planning on talking to you about opportunities that they have available. So Q2 Solutions is a subsidiary of IQVIA, which is based here in RTP, but they have a global footprint. Q2 Solutions will be coming on February 26th. We'll have someone from the Durham VA healthcare system. She's specifically in epidemiology, but she's going to be talking about her center as well as opportunities at the VA. And then EBSCO Health will be here on March 19th. They'll have a recruiter and a hiring manager as well as a presenter coming that day. So really encourage you to come with great questions, but also it's a great opportunity for you to learn about those organizations and like who the players are in the field. From there, I have some other events and opportunities to share with you. So February 8th, which is next Monday, the graduate school is holding a LinkedIn session. So like how to expand your network, leverage job search, really, LinkedIn has like updated and made changes, and like there's different formulas and things that they use. So learning how to use and navigate LinkedIn is like a skill set in its own. So if you're interested, I recommend attending that event. And then University Career Services is holding a diversity networking and career conference on February 17th. Again, that's through UNC Career Services. So you will go to UNC Career Services website to register for that. A couple more events that are coming up this fall. There's a career in STEMs panel discussion happening with the graduate school, and I've included those panelists here. They're all UNC Chapel Hill alums. And then there is a jobs career fair in data analytics and statistics. Again, if you go on UNC Career Services Handshake website, you can register for that career fair. Okay, I have made it through everything in 30 minutes, so that was record time. I'm sorry if I talked really fast. I see a question. So how does summer tuition work? Is it like every other semester per credit hour? Okay, so it's actually different for online students and residential students as it is during the semester. So the tuitions are calculated differently. So for the online program, it's like it is every semester, it's per credit hour, so you pay per credit hour. For residential students, your tuition has the similar model. So I don't know if it's the 3 credit hour breakdown. Marielle, are you super familiar with the summer credit or summer tuition for residential students?
Yeah, for residential students, it is calculated per credit hour, but the rates do change in the summer.
Okay.
For the online, I guess it stays the same.
It stays the same, yeah.
So for the residential, yeah, it's per credit hour only in the summer, and the rates are different from spring and fall.
What other
question? Just so just going back to the doing this with your employer, does it matter at which semester I would start this? So for example, if I take 2 classes during the 2 summer sessions and aim to start this in the fall, is that fine, or does it have to be at certain junctures throughout the
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be at a certain point in time. Again, I think Mario and I would agree that like closer to the end of your student experience is better, and most students do wait to do the internship until like closer to the graduation time. A couple of reasons why. One being you can apply more of your learnings to your internship experience. So you're going to have a better skill set after you've taken more classes, have more classes under your belt. I've also just seen students like kind of say, okay, I know I want to do this kind of internship project and I got to take this class in order to feel like I have the skill set to do this. So, there isn't a requirement beyond the 9 credit hours, but we would recommend like later in the later in your student career, with leaving time to do the paper and the presentation.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah. Well, do you want to kill the recording?